Okay, well, folks, I'd like to say a pleasant good morning. Welcome to the True Breakfast Show, Truth 961 FM, the heart and soul of Liberia. Today's Wednesday, it's midweek. Yes, this is the Wednesday edition of the TBS. Good morning to all of you listening, wherever you find yourself. However, you monitor this morning. Good morning, welcome to Liberia's biggest breakfast show. We cut across the 50 counties and the land and breadth of the Republic of Liberia. So, what to talk about this morning? This is the breakfast show. Good morning, Name. Good morning, Lofa. Good morning, Mikey. How is it this morning, Sino County? Great Colorado. Good morning, Great County. The love of liberty brought us together. Let justice be done to all, not some, but all of us. In the midst of all what we do, the country first. We want to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Nigeria. President Joseph Boyka. Good morning to you. Member of the Fifth. My name is O'Neill. To talk about this, let's give you the rundown what we have this morning on the TBS 961, the hot and soul of Liberia, as part of the show. The show is proudly sponsored by Orange Nigeria, the Post Apple Bank, the Pan African Bank, the South African, the True Breakfast Show. So we have health tips coming up shortly with Billy Ernest Cody. Here is going to fill us with by health tips for 5 minutes this morning, right after the health tip is the review of the papers. What's making news from the print media we found out this morning. The last of major headlines we want to miss out this morning. Then, as part of our talking point, the Liberia National Police and the Ministry of Transport are loggerheads. Are you observing what is happening in traffic? We'll be telling you what is happening. Who is responsible for motor vehicle inspection? The LMP and the Ministry of Transport are loggerheads. We'll talk about that this morning. A recap of key highlights on the True Verified show satellite providers, illegal mining, and rebacking of copyright. We also be talking about that. Massive corruption at the MCC, the Monroe Consolidated School System, with what we have in our possession. Yeah, let me just get that from the TV. Massive corruption, 4.2 billion. Thanks for the MCC. We'll be talking about that. Same nothing to do with the health hours. We don't want to miss the PBS. This one, the MCC, the MCSS. I say MCC, but MCSS. The Consolidated School System. We'll talk about that this morning. As part of our talking on the True Breakfast Show, Joseph Whitehouse Foundation donates ultra modern incubators. Well, good news for the health sector. Yes, we'll also talk about that. Then we get a lines activated for you to speak to your leader from 8:30 to 8:30 this morning. Yes, 8:30 this morning, we have a team from the Road Falls. We'll talk about the working of the National Road Falls. I've invited them this morning to share. There's some work happening at the National Road Falls. So we have a team coming out from the Road Falls this morning from 8:30 until 9:15. 9:15 is a big one. Are you aware that the first 100 day of the president-elect of the United States of America, Donald Trump, Deportation is high on the agenda. I mean, this is worrisome. Deportation are part of Donald Trump's 100 days. He talks about um, tax, reducing tax in the first 100 days. But that is tax cut, but deportation is high on the agenda in the 100 days. So withdrawing or migrating in the US, Malachi Khan, we'll be talking about it this morning. I mean, do you know what it takes to have the president-elect having as part of his 100 days of working to have deportation high within the 100 days? I mean, well, just like how won the election. Is saying deportation and tax cuts as part of his 100 days. We're talking about other kind of like rent base in the US. We're talking about this is the TBS 961 FM. So up like my name is New. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for sharing. All you have to do is just share our show on the Facebook. Those of you watching, give us a share. Let's bring you health care with David and that's what we do is go to the podcast this one right here on the right side show. Let's bring you health care with David Coty. Yes, I from the team. And David will play the call right now. And he, yeah, trust me, you will be for this is a original David has right now. So David is live online. Good morning to you, David. Says Mike says he always on time, man. So before you do your health tip, yeah, you have an intro. Donald John Trump is his full name. Donald John Trump, as part of his 100 day deportation, on the agenda. Hmm, hmm, Okay, great. Let's see what you have to do in the health. All right, Derek, okay, thank you so much. Derek, I think he's caught up. No, not an issue. Not an issue. You don't know it all. You don't know it all. You don't know it all. But the Minister of Transport and Liberal National Police look like, uh-huh. So you keep listening, just keep listening and just listen to what I'm about right now. Who's responsible for inspection? Whether it's the police or the Ministry of Transport? Yes, there is a regular feature of health right here on the breakfast show. Let's find out what's making news from the print media. This is the TBS, 96.1 FM. Yes, what's making news from the print media? Yeah, so we'll come to the review of the look at the list. Our first stop has to do with the Daily Observer. The Observer is going to stand for this something like $1. That's correct. Yes, the green hub of West Africa, Liberia stands as top 29. It's a front page story on the Daily Observer this morning. You can grab a copy as time of the GPC. It's a sub-lead story, Marka at East Corner, majority block. I'm saying Minister of Transport, what are you from one swore in time first boss while capturing the completion from the Daily Observer Grapple Cafe on the 2 hour ultimatum to surrender Guinean reporter. I'm saying Councillor Kabina Janet. Kabina Mohammed Janet is captured on the front page of the Observer Grapple Cafe. We'll see if I can go to our next up. This has to do with the news news. Also on the front page of the news newspapers pick up profile betrayal again. Executive does business with majority block. Well, it's a major story on the front page of the news. Penalty looks so innocent here. Like his son is born, he has captured on the front page of the news, paper, Grapple Cafe, Health Center, postal loans. Well, I'm seeing flashback photos of here. On the front page of from the news, where is the back page? If I can get to the back page, I'll move from to the in profile, the in profile. Profile did not pay a down for CC headquarters. We were saying this, this was never say Kamakuji. Profile did not pay a down for CC headquarters. Fuji refused speculation for its on the front page. Rapo Cafe, Worker Council plan meeting with ECOWIS or some news story on the front page from the in profile this morning. Let's move on to the women voices. The front page from the women voices. Capitol Hill descends in for the deficit. Like you are teetering on the bank of in charge of. I sometimes hear people say is President Boyka actually in charge. Boyka is the president. That's why I always say I love the national anthem of Great Britain. All hail the king, long live the king. And the president should take full charge. If people are saying this, if people are saying this, the president in charge, the Ministry of Transport and Liberia National Police. He assigned mine. Who is responsible for motor vehicle inspection? Is it the police? It is the Ministry of Transport. I want to answer if not the Liberian National Police. And I'm going to go to the act that created Liberian National Police. Before you do it, you have to do substantive research. I've done enough of research on this. The act that created the police of 2016. Very good morning to you. I mean, Cabinet General giving some 2 hours ultimatum to produce a wide body of different individuals. That is the first attraction. But this is the Ministry of Transport versus Liberian National Police. Drivers now driving the traffic playing fun. So do we listen to transport or police? Section 22.72A8 of the Police Act. Police have police their own kind of police. If you are forgetting for this act, now tell Liberians to put behind this thing. If we are behind this, why the police wants to do inspection? And don't get me wrong, they are there to enforce. I will tell Liberians that when this company wants to be getting that they don't want to travel there to put on labor. Good morning, His Excellency President Marka. Ellen Johnson, keep on this. George, we are all still on it. And also, His Excellency. Let me just go back. The Police Act of 2016, Act 22.72A8, police have function to enforce vehicle and traffic law. This is why you see the police will be on the street every day. They are there to enforce. They are going by the act. But to come out and say that they are there, they are the official force that will be doing inspection, this is no. In 1987, the 1987 Act gave the Ministry of Transport gave transport of all regulation in all modes, whether it's air, whether it's by sea, whether it's by road. The Ministry of Transport has the full right to do so. That's the Liberian National Police. The police don't have to say, we are there just to enforce. The transport say, park this vehicle. If the driver wants to put stuff on that, the police is there to enforce it. I'm going back a little bit. Good morning, Excellence. Society happened this way. I drive through the traffic and I saw transport inspectors and police officers arguing. And I said, I get videotape it. Let me bring this out to the public. This is happening in our country. Police and transport. They hotel Liberians, the mere reason behind this. So this act, before then, the motor vehicle, do you know the motor vehicle inspection used to be under the Ministry of Finance? You know that? I think you're recording. It was Ellen Johnson in 2006, 2007, and said, no, the Ministry of Finance cannot be doing motor vehicle inspection. Let's put it on a what? The Ministry of Transport. Come on, come on. Rick, I hope you're following up with me this morning. I mean, the police is coming in the news for the wrong reason. Ellen talking for the Ministry of Finance. Body on what? The Ministry of Transport for vehicle motor inspection. Of the 1987 Act that established the Ministry of Transport, the first transport minister of Liberia, Mahmoud Dapo, when President Samuel Kayode under his own administration said, no, we need transport minister. That was the first transport minister, Dapo. Even morning Captain was seeing today. Captain was the director of planning and research on the Sea Ministry of Transport. These are the things we are responsible for vehicles registration. Going back to tell Nigerians that what is happening, people in law knows that one thing that happened before. Society are passed through a different way and put transport and police into an argument. Who's responsible for inspection? I'm getting there a little bit and tell Nigerians the main reason why the police will take all this. And I'll say why Ellen kick it up. Just we are in self to close the eye on it. Now you have right eye. Look on his excellency. I said, a lot of things happening there. This thing shouldn't be so. The Minister of Justice brought the Minister of Inspector General. and put them together and say, look, gentlemen, before any company take over, there's a company that want to outsource the whole transport and Liberia National Police. Right? No word that you see police is responsible for vehicle inspection. Yes, why Liberia? This Lebanese company called traffic management. Traffic management wants to take over without PPCC vetting to go to take over and start doing all of your lessons. You won't be going to a Lebanese to do your lessons. And everyone will probably kind of think, look, people is excellent. This is it falls down. We are just ignoring all of the things that God acts that created this, the act of this, the act of that. This is sad. The first principal minister, that book, inspection started with them. How come when the police guy is saying no, we're responsible for this? So the fire service will come and say, yeah, the fire extinguisher too is to buy it. That's the police will want to do. I'm bringing this to my picture. This is how what is happening. Look, this traffic management, before even traffic management get a contract within the country, they should go to the PPCC process. And who's supposed to do so? Who's going to transport? Of course. Transport should buy the PPCC and vet this company. But now it is believed that the police is the one who's recommending the traffic management to take over the whole insurance thing, the whole vehicle registration, the whole lesson thing, and make that transport industry. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Called traffic management. What do you call traffic management? Go back to your own act. Look at the act of the police. Of course, we have their own view on this, but this is what happened. This is very sad for our country. And let me keep this out. Even Joshua, let me just go back. So when the brought us out in the same document, this is section B. The Ministry of Transport was established by the Act of the National Legislature on August 25, 1987 to formulate all transport, insurance, maritime regulations in Liberia. Should we close our eye on this act? Like I said, every day we wake up, it's a different look. Let me just give this excellence. We're not precedent. With this kind of information coming out, people are just interested in their themselves, but not the country. People just interested in their very self. Traffic management have been trying to come to our. You want us to be going for our journey this place, and why you telling us? You want to take this out and easily act on digital transport? It can be happening. Look, see what is happening right now. Who do you go to? The police or the Ministry of Transport? The police are just to enforce. That's how it should be. So let's go to I think Natana McGill was head of what's the position? Minister of State. So Joshua himself to look at the whole thing, certain parking system, and said no. Let's move on to this thing. If the vehicle inspection, the Ministry of Transport should say spearhead this thing. Motor vehicles, the Ministry of Transport are reading from the whole act, except that let's put everything that will put on the board and you'll do your own thing. Let me just move. We'll move. I'll get some reaction to the publication. Yes, coming up. Go on to you, Francis Yimane. Almost all of the superintendents, the county superintendents, have been receiving calls. They are now functional. Some of them are crying. They don't have to do. There are even some, all the superintendents in the county. The office material, those stationary, those things they are working. The superintendents are crying. But we have to say, with all the 15 counties, how we can expect them to function. So, let's get some reaction from the public. Yeah, we get our guests coming up. Yeah, this is the TBS 961 FM. Call us if you want to participate at 8:30. At 8:30, just guests, talk to your leader. But it's a sad thing. We need some intervention. It's the police. or the Ministry of Transport, as far as I'm concerned, by act, created the Ministry of Transport have the full right to operate. The police are there to enforce. This is why it is especially just on one part. Guess what? The police will still be there to stay looking for lessons because they will be enforcing. That's how it should be. Traffic management with no PPCC, vetting for the PPCC, can be happy. Why are we ignoring the laws? Okay. And let's get a line starting. But let me say congratulations again. His Excellency the President Foundation of America, some new ultra modern incubators. This is something good. 20 I'm taking to JFK. Yes, 10 to JFK. The Gmail Davis Hospital received 3. This is something good. The Redemption Hospital received 4. So the balance of 11 will be sent to the U.S. County and Health Sector. This is from because of work and foundation of good project. But let's get on line started there. Speak to your leader right here on the show this morning. Yes, 0777259618 is our guest. Let's go to the line 0777259618. This is the breakfast show. My name is O'Neill. Our first caller coming through this morning. Good morning. What's happening with the line? 777259618. Yes, we'll do a good call coming up. Good morning. Morning. Oh, I'll let you go. You have to move from your monitor. You can do this. Morning. 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 Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Let's hear you at least a minute. Morning. No. All right. Thank you. Yes, the police you ain't know that. All right. Good morning. Okay, this call coming through this morning. 277 961 830 bring on the team from the road from invite again this morning. Let's see if I can get this call coming through. The line, yes, yes. Good morning. Yes, the line. Go ahead. Morning. No, wait, hold up, Milton, hold up. You said national team players didn't go to pay for the hotel. Well, wait, you saw the thing that came to the IRK, whatever, Nigerian black. The whole national team don't have hotel bill. That's a shame. But sorry about that, man. What kind of country is this? Tell me what will say. The whole national team don't have a money that you pay for hotels. A shame of disgraceful country we're getting ourselves into. The national lose that place to be right to go. We don't even have hotel money. And guess what? For the three of our lawmakers have been to hotel for 3 weeks. Yeah, man. What kind of country is this? Let's be good calls that will bring in our guest, Charlene. Good morning. Morning. Go ahead. Well, with the police and the Ministry of Transport now, who's responsible for the inspection? You know. Okay. All right. Thank you. Let's pick out last one. Our guests are ready to go on roll. Yes, Milton, sorry. You just quickly. Just, where's the national team camping? You said no hotel bill. So, Milton, hold on. Sorry, quickly. Let me just zoom in up the chat quickly. So, does the national team not have hotel bill at Florida Hotel? What you say? Look at that. Shame and disgrace. A whole national team holding. Thank you. Thank you, folks. As we close out this morning, the whole national team owes the Corona Hotel sends the Djibouti Games achievement is great for the national team, the nation pride and joy. Owes well for the three of our love because the majority of us have been with them for 3 weeks. The national team, the tell the world to us of what kind of country it is. Yes, let's think of the guys in the studio right here on the show. Thanks for all of your calls. Let's hope the Ministry of Transport and the Liberian National Police, the Ministry of Justice, please handle this matter. It's the Ministry of Transport, motor vehicle inspection, not the police. The police are just there to enforce. Yes, that's how it should be. Yes, let's think of our guests this morning. We have a roundtable introduction here from the road call. I get that on the second of the TPS. Good morning to the gentlemen. How you doing this morning? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, O'Neill, and thanks for inviting us on your platform.
Okay. Yeah, so let's do a roundtable just for your name. Yes, and yes, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Emmett P. Coker. I'm Director of Media Relations at the National Road Fund.
Okay. We're doing a roundtable. Well, the rest of the team, I'm not hearing me.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, so let's get this short break. Let's get this break.
Yeah.
Yes, let's get this come back. We'll bring it all. Yeah. Yes, but in the meantime, this is this is not right. I mean, this is not right now. To have the national is blue even put their bills. They don't even hide it. So when you put pressure on the national team, or you put pressure on Mustafa Reggie, Reggie is a better president of the country. Even Padap, whatever Padap umpire will not be there. But put that bill, they get it. I mean, what kind of country is this? The guys who are going to put the flag in the national anthem will be set over there. Give me somewhere you will have money for me. Anyway, we want to wish them the best of luck. Yeah, when you win this kind of game, you can find actually catch up. Yeah, but let's see if all is okay now. Yeah, are we good to go? We try to see if we can put our guests this morning right here on the show. 961 out of Liberia. If you're driving your way, instead of being on the traffic, what's up into a serious argument this morning? Who's responsible for inspection? Would you want to like let go that it is the Ministry of Transport and our police are there to carry on the enforcement act? That's how it should be. So this whole traffic management, that would put a big question mark to it. Josh, we had this and that was one kind of traffic management. We have to provide. But then let's link on to what topic. This one. Let's do this for one. Good morning. Good morning. Let's have a I guess here again.
Yeah, I'm Jamie Kuti, engineering assistant of the National Road Fund.
Yes. The first thing I didn't get is this. My name.
Thank you very much, Odin. I'm Emmett P. Coker. I'm the Director of Media Relations at the National Road Fund.
Okay, great. How's the National Road Fund?
Yes, the National Road Fund is good. We are executing our mandate based on the 2016 Act that established the National Road Fund.
Okay, you want to talk about the act?
Yeah, so in 2016, the legislature passed the National Road Fund law, and the National Road Fund became operational last in 2018. And since 2018, the National Road Fund has been able to pave a number of kilometer roads across the country, finance the pavement of kilometer road across the country, because it is important that we come here to to state what our roles and our responsibilities are, because many a times when you talk about the National Road Fund, the fact that road is just in in the name, people think that the National Road Fund is supposed to be paving road across the country, and there's a lot of confusion about the National Road Fund and the Ministry of Public Works. So it is important that we also try to clarify and delineate our roles and our responsibility. So the establishment of the road fund does not take away the duty and the responsibility of the Ministry of Public Works. The Ministry of Public Works is the infrastructure arm of the government that is responsible for all infrastructure works across the country. So what the 2016 out of the National Road Fund did was to ensure that after the war, like we all know that we had the proliferations of NGOs and goodwill across the country coming to finance our roads. So our partners were concerned about the maintenance and the sustainability of this road after they should have left. So the idea came about the National Road Fund. So the National Road Fund basically is to ensure the financing, of road maintenance and rehabilitation across the country. So the National Road Fund ensure does not get involved in the actual implementation of road works across the country, as many people has been made to believe that the National Road Fund, we are a separate institution that's supposed to be paving road across the country. No, the National Road Fund doesn't get involved in the execution of road work. That is the responsibility of the Ministry of Public Works. Our roles and responsibility is to ensure the financing, the meticulous financing of road infrastructure across the country. So everything that is related to road works is still the duty and the responsibility of the Ministry of Public Works and not the National Road Fund. The National Road Fund will finance road infrastructure across the country, as well as street level, because street level still have to do with safety. So many of the street lights across the country is financed through the National Road Fund because it has to do with safety issue.
Okay, great. So, thanks, Ali, for giving our outline. Basically, what Now you have stated that the role of the Ministry of Public Works that is absolutely critical.
Yes, so our engineer will come in to give some specificity about the number of roads that have been found out across the country, their location, and the impact the national road fund have made, because people here see most of the roads have been financed, but they don't know where the money coming from. So our engineer would speak to these specific areas that have been roads project that have been financed by the national road fund. So as to give the public, the appreciation of the number of projects that have been financed by the national road fund since 2018.
Yeah, so as we try to get the engineer on shortly, but all over, let's look at it again. And maybe how it can your future responsibility and your roles you have played in the country.
Yes, we our duties, like I stated previously, is to ensure that the financing of road infrastructure across the country. It is important to state that across Liberia, we are challenged in terms of the financing gap of road across the country. But yet still, the National Road Fund annually we raise between 18 to 25 million around there, and we have been very proactive in ensuring that the different roads across the country. I want to dedicate that to the engineer who will speak to the specifics of these different roads across the country.
Yes, I'm sure he's getting me. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah,
Even this
yeah. Good morning, indeed.
go ahead.
Well, so since the listing of the National Road Fund, since 2018, where when acted and it started road work, there are a couple of rules within the entire countries that were done with respect to the kilometers, and like so since 2018 up to today's date, with the different kinds of pavement in terms of asphalt, what we call the quota, the concrete, what we call the let's say the rigid pavement that we call the cement road, and the polymer, the gypsy, and some lateral road across the entire country. The total kilometer was somewhere around 554 kilometer. And, and all of those projects, they are all across the country. With respect to Maserado, there are a couple of projects that I may list in Maserado specifically. When we talk about some of the rules within Maserado, we come right to our spreadsheet here that I just want to give me a time. Okay, we start with the first work that was done on the boulevard by the military. That project was financed through the National Road Fund. The sidewalk that you see there, that's a rigid pavement, that was done by the military. And then we come right here in the same Painesville that we are presently. When it comes to the road that right around the Painesville Town Hall, it is called the Vocabulation Road. That was done a couple of years ago by SSF. And then you go somewhere on the old and down the old road, but the Congo Bar Road, the St. Michael, the Bishop Michael Francis Road, and that was a rehabilitation work that was done by or SSF. And then we go in the entire rear section where the both president, the past and the current president live. That's a rigid pavement that was done to, I think about 5.5 kilometer. And the side of the former president that work is still ongoing. That's the asphalt pavement that was done by Zidane. That is currently under construction work because the work is not completed yet. And then when we come somewhere around the same rehab, we drive from here, we're coming towards the hospital where the current Senator Eddie Snow live. That Babufi Road, that was road out funded by the National Road Fund. The Pepperfish Road, that's another road out funded by the National Road Fund. And when you get to where they got the heavy care clinic by the current representative of District 6, there's a road I drive in to go to the beach. And that's a reinforcement bridge that was done even at the back of that place. The length of that bridge is somewhere around, I think, 12 to 13 meter span. And that's a bridge that was done by Jupiter. So besides Monserrato, the entire 15 county, there are a couple of works that currently being done, and even work that was done by the National Road Fund. For example, when you go down to Barclayville City, there's a gypsy work that was done there, and the contractor is SSF. And, when you come in Mind the 14 military hospital today that you see that particular work, that's a road that was funded by the National Road. And so currently, there are a couple of works that are still ongoing, but in total, our current kilometer when it comes to all of the roads that are listed, like I said, we are further up to 554 kilometers across the entire country. Just for rehabilitation.
Is it 500 what?
554
across the country.
Yeah, across the country. That inclusive with regards to asphalt, concrete, polymer, the gypsy, and some lateral road. Yes.
Yeah, so we have one of your colleagues just coming in, so he can kind of introduce himself. Yes, good morning. You getting me? So, but in the meantime, we'll try to get that. Let's look at source of funding. What are some of the primary sources of income from the national road? Yeah, the CRA can come in. Yeah, just
the source of funding. What if I open the box in?
Gentlemen, you're live on air. You can't be doing this. So, yes, you can do this, man. You can do this. The microphones are live open. You can do this. I'm asking you.
Yeah, thank you, O'Neill. My name is Albert K. Samukai. I'm the Chief Program Officer at the National Road Fund of Bløggèr.
Okay, so I was asking, source of funding. What are some of the primary sources of funding from the National Road Fund in order for that institution to be very proactive?
Okay, thank you. While driving in your frequency, I know you asked a very fundamental question, and I think I just want to backtrack a little bit to add to the answer already been provided, then I will move forward with the question that you asked. So the National Road Fund, how did it come into being? In 2014, I believe, yes, we were discussing, because, right after the Civil War, most of Liberia reconstruction process, especially for infrastructure, was driven heavily by donor financing from the World Bank and other institutions like the African Development Bank. So while trying to move away from the donor financing, the question was asked, how can we domestically now find ways that we can finance our road infrastructure projects and maintain our roads across the country? So the then president asked us to do a DEX review of road maintenance across the sub-region. So we look at Ghana, we look at Sierra Leone, we look at Cote d'Ivoire to see how they were doing in terms of raising domestic revenue to do road maintenance across the country. So that DEX study was done, and it was presented to the president, President Salif then, and now the vice president, who now the current president, was also in that room. And then we made the recommendation that in order for us to move away, since much of the focus, we're looking for additional money to do road rehabilitation and reconstruction, how can we finance and maintain the existing roads that we have? So we propose that a fee levy be imposed on every gallon imported into the country.
Okay.
And it was on that basis that we went ahead to draft the Road Fund Act, and then it was subsequently passed into law in 2016. Now, because we're moving into election year 2017, the Road Fund couldn't be operationalized. So it was in 2016, our manager, the current manager, who was then serving as chief of staff to the Minister of Public Works, was able to ensure that we get our feet to the ground to ensure that the Road Fund office was fully operational. So this is where we are in terms of we collect our money. So let me answer the next question. We collect our money from road user charges, but currently we're using only one source, and that is petroleum levy. So every petroleum product,
Just one source.
yes, just one. But what we're trying to do right now, we're exploring ways to find other additional revenue streams to bring online. So one of them we're looking at is the axle load. Now, the axle load comes in twofold. It serves one as a deterrence, for the by usage of the road, and also it serves as a way to generate additional revenue for the usage of the road. So we're working with the Ministry of Transport to ensure that we can launch that program. Hopefully, if not end of this year, maybe next year. But significant details have been put into place to ensure that we bring that
Are
to
you
fruition.
following up with the rules condition? I mean, but what are the rules that we want internet? Say you following up, community rules, the feeder rules, the mini rules. This pass the oversight.
Yes, it's a challenge, and we recognize that. Currently, we have actually 13 kilometers of road in the country to look after. Of that amount, we have about 1,000 plus roads that are paid. Now, when you look at the collection, because you asked the question, how much do we collect annually? If you look at the revenue projection currently that we have, the road fund generates anywhere in the neighborhood of 25 to 30 million annually. If you speak to the folks at the Ministry of Public Works, they will tell you that in order for us to significantly maintain the existing roads that we have and also rehabilitate and construct new roads, we will be looking at around 200 million a year to spend. And if you look at that, 200 million,
200 million.
200 million.
Okay, you raise such a money from where you collect the allocated funds from.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that is the expectation. If we are to do significant work all across the country with everything and just try to fix all at once, we'll be looking at around a minimum of $200 million. But currently, with the road user charge that we collect from the levy on petroleum pellet, we generate only around 25 to 30 million per annum. So you can see the constraint, you can see the strain that is being placed on the National Road Fund. That is why, under the leadership of our fund manager, we're working very aggressively to identify additional revenue sources that will help boost up the revenue envelope of the National Road Fund so as to contribute to the maintenance of roads and bridges across the country.
Let's move on to the impact of infrastructure. I mean, folks are listening, I'm seeing comments coming back and forth, text messages. In terms of impact and infrastructure, how does the national role for impact rural infrastructure quality and availability?
That's a good question. From the inception of this government, when our current fund manager took over, one of the things that she's recognized and tried to put in place is internal system strengthening. We are a fund, so if we don't have stringent internal control system in place, it's difficult for us to work effectively and make the kind of impact we are supposed to do. So we went ahead to she instituted a technical audit of all the roads across the country to say we are financing roads across the country. Let's audit the roads that we have financed to see how we are doing, looking at the longevity of it, the quality of it, the standard and all of those. So that study was sanctioned, and it came back very informative. One of the things that was revealed to us there was one, the thickness of the asphalt that we use. Also, looking at the asphalt temperature, because most of the construction works, the asphalt plant is not just at the site, right? So you have to sometimes transport the asphalt from one destination to another. So within that time frame, you'll see that the temperature, there's a variation in the temperature. The one that is up is lower than the one that is down. So by the time and the asphalt is supposed to be really hot at certain temperature level before you apply it to the surface. So because of that, when you dump it on the road, it does not get compacted
Is it
very
also
well.
rather just speaking of one, like you have to think speaking
Yes, so we're doing work all across the country. And I spoke. I think the engineer spoke about some, but I will just name some of them that I can recall. Okay, we've done roads in Buchanan. We've done road in Banga. We've done roads in Grand Crew, correct? Yes, we've done road in Grand Crew. So we are spread all across the country, ensuring that we can deliver service to our people, especially the access to good roads. So we may not be able to fix all at once, but we're working very aggressively, applying every method, every innovation to ensure that the Liberian people get the kind of service that they deserve in terms of road access and road maintenance.
Great. So before end of your colleague, let's look at reform and challenges. I mean, this is something very important. What challenges does national road face? What reforms are being considered? We will talk about it.
Okay, so one of the challenges we face, of course, we have to find ways to expand our revenue base because the demand for road is just overwhelming. So we have to
The
explore.
huge demand, put the huge there, the huge
Yeah,
demand
it's very
Mhm.
massive demand for road across the country is there. So we have to work, all around the clock to ensure that we find additional revenue streams to do that. So currently, as we speak, we're in the process of developing our revenue mobilization strategy. That strategy will basically help us inform us in terms of what are the potential areas within our economy that we can explore to generate additional revenue. Also, the management in terms of the independence of the National Road Fund as far as the governance is concerned. I know that we've drafted because we're just a first generation road fund. And what that means is that we are new. We've never run a road fund before. This is our first time. So the first 5 or 6 years basically was a pilot to see how we are doing. So we want to move above that now to strengthen the fund in a way that it works very independently and deliver the kind of services. So working with the African Development Bank, they're supporting us to do an amendment to the National Road Fund Act. That act will basically give more independence in terms of how we can go about to generate additional revenue, how we can do our revenue collection, and all of those. So those are basically some of the challenges that we have. But believe me, O'Neill, we're working very hard to ensure that we can support them.
Okay, yes. We can some what's the engineer? Engineer was coming in. So far before I move on to the line, I'm seeing a lot of the phone is picking up. Yeah, the engineer, where are we so far? What can you post up so far? The National Road Farm, you as engineer, yeah.
Well, repeat your question again.
I'm
Sorry.
saying what can you for the engineering standpoint now, the National Road for cutting across the country, where are we almost into the dry season now?
Yeah.
What's some
Well,
of
well,
those majors?
well. Now that we're in the dry season, well, over the years, there's this system that we had a rule from where more often we wait on payment come before we go do validation before that payment can be made. But in the wisdom of the new manager and the department, we have come up with a new program that they call the surveillance inspection. So we no longer wait now for payment to come before we go do validation, but rather we start to engage contractor, visit all of the project sites on a periodic and regular basis to know the status of the work. So prior to all of those payments, whenever they come forth, and then we will already have an idea to know by then how it was and then the present condition of the road. And now that we're in the dry season, we are already starting engaging contractors.
The working of the rainy season, the working of the road starts in the rain season. So if you can work through the rain, I'm thinking if you can work through the dry.
Nobody know obvious is now with the kind of rain that we experience in our country, and most especially when it comes to asphalt road, you don't really work because the pavement is water and all of those things they do.
Which are the real key priorities? If you get the ball rolling and start effectively this rain season. What are those areas you think you be tackling?
Well, basically, we we we're not the one who has
You work in collaboration with
with
the
the
Ministry
Ministry of
of
Public Works.
Public Works.
Yes, with
Okay, so
Public
you do
Works.
make recommendations at some point in time.
Yeah, we make a lot of recommendation, with the Ministry of Public Works. And most of our recommendation is that look, we public work need to engage the contractor to see how best they can, to start active work because when you look at our people across the country, places that were funding projects, they kind of complain that can't, and so because of that, now in the dry season, we started engaging the Ministry of Public Work that look, the contractors They got to start to remobilize now, start engaging all of these projects to see how best they can start as soon as possible.
Okay, yes, as soon as possible. I want to take some reaction. You guys will sit back, listen up. Maybe there are some questions missing out from I didn't ask. The callers would like to put through this morning. They are from the National Road Fund right here on the front segment of the TBS this morning, 961 FM. So we have in studio Abbas Samuka, Chief Program Officer, Mark Koti, Engineer Assistant, Emmett Coker, Director of Media Relations with us this morning. Let's get the lines activated. Sit back and listen up to some of the questions coming through. This one is 0777-285-961. You can call. For those of you sending SMS, I prefer you call and let them get their questions. Yes, this morning, right here on the show this morning. Good morning.
Yes, good morning again. Morning.
Morning, go ahead.
Morning. First thing, if I have a way of recommending the Minister of Information for the country.
No, I'm far from it.
For this rule here, it's necessary that you have special people to do rule from and you have only work to do this. I think it's just maybe we have too much money, we don't know how to play it. It's administration of activities. And the people who will these local work to be responsible for all these, and then they will do it better. We get small group, just finding ways for people to do it.
The road fund is created by act, so it's by law.
Yeah, well, those people, you see, when you see people who make laws, you know what kind of laws they should make to benefit the country. Not taking 10 questions to do 5 questions to work.
Okay, thank you. Let's go. Please ask the question directly. Good morning.
Good morning.
Give me hold on. Yeah, go ahead. You call from Nimba County? Nimba?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you listen to us by radio in Nimba? Okay, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't want to follow what is still yes. I'm trying to follow the very well what it really. The issue about the rule, I think we have the one the higher quality you know when the guys will gather and all that is so I listen to the anything about Nima about the Sila rule and sending all area in it to see if they make some impact within the Sila rule. I listen to the color police was talking about the former president and the president area and also the other rule living from for commission and town community all that area were limited.
But nothing about Nimba.
Yeah.
Okay.
One about Nimba to the Uganda, the one in major city Nana house out of Filaro. Sending Koi out of Filaro, one about the roof on, one on the election there. And lastly, who is the director now with the roof on because we know that they've appointed and now Rickman Rule was said.
The booking has a different question. All right. Thank you. Let's pick up David Ernest Koti Abbas.
Good morning to you and good morning to your studio guests. Let me first of all thank the President, His Excellency Joseph Barney, for the appointment of the current team at the Road Fund. They're doing a damn good job. Oh yes, I appreciate it. I've been following the activities and they're doing very well. My only appeal now to the government is to give more support to the entity. And please, gentlemen.
David, your credit finish. I should call you back. Well, I don't know. He's probably something happened with his phone, but yes, let's go to the line, pick another call on the line. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, this is Giovanni calling from
Banga. You calling for Banga? Go ahead.
Yeah.
You didn't hear them mentioning Banga. Someone said they didn't mention Nimba. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I just want to ask you a question. These rules are your, these are the rules are talking about what with you come out, you put in keep stream also with you because right now when you come, the young people will all go back and go to go in out, go back and go for because when you know the guy in the gray when you guys going. So I think the question why do we put in some of the keep stream also around to avoid I don't want to see. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Well, they were just went up the line like that. Good morning. I don't want to hear myself in the background. Move from the morning till morning.
morning, how you doing?
Morning, go ahead.
Yeah, Chief, I want to actually, I think it was ambassador supposed to appear on a show.
No, you can't do this. So the U.S. ambassador didn't appear because there's a change in government. Probably Trump may have a new policy. So that's it. Thank you. Yes. Good morning. Morning. The line is bad. You have to move away from your monitor. They will put you through, please. Yes. Once you call, move away from the monitor. We'll pick 2 or 3 more calls. Then go back to our guests to respond. Let's go back to the line. Yes. Just go to the issue. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Tito, and I call from the Manga family, Yahweh. Yeah, only my concern has to do with the amount of money that has been mentioned. If public one can say they need 200 million to rehabilitate the road, why are we asking other nations for 100 million to pay maybe 2 or 3 kilometer road? That means Liberia can build their own road. But what I see in all of the conversation, it's just this matter of commitment and corruption. And corruption, will. Thank you. This is signing. This is signing.
All right.
Can generate 25 to 30 million. You need to have a focus. You need to have a focus. Most of the road that they need is being used by the public. These are just community road that is not even important.
All right. Thank you. They respond to it. Morning. Morning. Okay. Yeah, that protest the police and transport. We'll talk about that. Yeah, but gentlemen, you listen up to the callers. Let's come back. Yes, I mean, yes, any of you can come in. Yes, you've been following the calls. Yes, yes, any of you can come through. How about you are live? You can't keep doing it. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, O'Neill. I will start first with the engineer was just whispering to me, but I'll just start first with
Yeah, tell the engineer you live. You can't keep going.
Sorry for that. Yeah, but he was just confirming with me. The colleague who called for NIMBA, that NIMBA is making a lot of contribution from there. That is true, but we'll also say that the road from Ganta to Lokatu, Saklepi Lokatu, is being financed by the National Road Fund, and so you can see the work.
So if the engineer wants to please, you can't keep doing that. Keep saying it. Let he just say. You can't be whispering, eh? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's one of the projects that we are doing. We're also supporting the RAP project for the Sikram Road, also in the southeast area corridor there. So the road fund, our impact is all across the country. You know, we're making sure that all of our citizens can feel the impact from the revenue that is being generated. Because you got to understand, O'Neill, with the importation of petroleum product, everybody somehow, some way contribute to the National Road Fund. For the fact that you're riding motorbike, there's petroleum product being used. The fact that you're using keke, there's petroleum product being used. The fact that you're using a vehicle or generator, so you know it's a wholesome contribution. That's why we're making sure that every citizen, wherever part of the country you are, can benefit. Working with the Ministry of Public Works can be able to benefit from the road fund. Also, the roads between the Ministry of Public Works and the National Road Fund. I may perhaps the colleague didn't listen earlier when we tried to distinguish between what the road fund does and what the Ministry of Public Works does. I think it is important to understand most of the developed countries or developing countries that we look at. This is best practice, to have a road fund. We are focused on financing. So that means that we explore revenue streams, generate the finances, and then support the government agency that is responsible to do road designs, road reconstruction, and road development. And that is with the Ministry of Public Works. So you can see the difference there. They do the work. We go and validate before we make the payment. So that way, you see the rigidity in terms of the value for money that we're looking at. Because I would just backtrack a little bit. One of the things that we do before we even do the payment, when Ministry of Public Works send a request to us, is that we have a technical compliance checklist. Our engineers are.
Everything goes to PCC
Say that?
in terms of bidding of contracts.
Yeah, Public Works handles the bidding, the contract aspect of it. But in terms of the actual implementation and completion of projects, requesting payment from us, we use our technical compliance checklist, send our engineers in a field to say, okay, Ministry of Public Works, you contracted for the building of this road, it should be 600 kilometers or whatever, the width, the length, what are the safety features, all those things we look for it in it. So when our engineers go in the field, we try to pick up everything that has been laid out in the contract and the BOQ to make payment. So we just don't make payment, like that. So I just wanted to make that clear. I think I want to thank Mr. Derek Koti for the word of encouragement. We will support. We're happy that people like him can support the work that we're trying to do, and we'll continue to engage the public in terms of getting them to fully understand. We know this road funding is new to our country, but we have to continuously engage the public to get them to a place of understanding where they know what the road fund is doing and what the Ministry of Public Works is doing. So I will.
Yes. So we have like 5-10 minutes. Maybe other thing we have to make mention of. You guys can call through.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
additionally, one of the callers said that he doesn't see the reason for the establishment of the road fund, and I mean the public works can handle all of these things. And like Abba rightfully stated that there are two separate roles that the Ministry of Public Works and the road fund, they are engaged with. If you say that you don't see the importance, then the engineer just stated that we have financed over 500 kilometer road across the country through the National Road Fund. Look at he's talking about the proclamation. Currently, the road fund is financing from Robertsport to Medina, the Grand Basel Community College Beach through the National Road Fund, Fairground financed through the National Road Fund. So if somebody come to court and questioning the establishment, they don't see the reason for the establishment of the road fund, then you look at the impact we are making across the country. The first thing you have to understand to know, what are the impacts being made by the institution? It is important that sometimes it's not just to come on the radio and call because you want to be heard, but to know what these different institutions are engaged with. And when you understand their role and their duty, then you come, to make, an informed statement, not to make a blanket and to generalize statement that you don't see the importance of why the rule or why the institution should be established.
Yes. So any other thing we haven't touched, maybe you guys can use the next 2 or 3 minutes to do so as we try to close up.
Yeah, let me go back to
Mhm.
Nima, but specifically Zogowi.
Okay.
I think that was the total kilometer should be about approximately 12 to 13 kilometers.
Okay.
Currently, there's a bus cover that was constructed by the National Road Fund. That's funded by the National Road Fund. A company called DAP. That particular section of the road, that's a border road between Liberia and Guinea.
Mhm.
Currently, the bridge, the only work that left for the bus cover now is to be backfilled so that residents, those who live in Zogowi, to come and cross that section to go Guinea. And that project, the road now is the next phase that the contractor will, in the coming days, that is supposed to start commencing to start work. And so when you talk about, oh yeah, it is true that all people from Nima are benefiting. Yes, it is true. Maybe you may not have the idea or you may not know about that, but those are some of the things that are currently ongoing there.
Okay, yes. So let's take part in comments starting off the public affairs, man. Yes, the PR in final word.
Yeah, so thanks very much for the invitation on you. I know that the caller who said that you don't see the establishment of the institution, the people from Peace Island will not agree with him because years back they suffer immensely from Barrow, and today Peace Island is a different story. And over the weekend we had two different community engagement and the people expressed their joy. So across the country, like Bon County, Broad Street, financed through the National Road Fund, and Parkview, those different community and people across the country will not agree with that caller that said you don't see the reason for the establishment of the institution. But we'll continue to engage the public to know our role and our responsibility. Like I was stated, the National Road Fund doesn't get involved directly or indirectly in awarding road contracts. We don't go through all of the bureaucracy that is done as agreed with the Ministry of Public Works. We are a fund management office that meticulously spend government money through the financing of road infrastructure across the country. So the public needs to understand the two roles and responsibility. The Ministry of Public Works is different from the National Road Fund, and the National Road Fund is different from the Ministry of Public. Even
And,
though
and interference, sometimes, at some point in time, the Ministry of Public Works try to interfere with road funds.
we coordinate because the Public Works Minister is the board chair of the National Road Fund. So there is coordination between the National Road Fund and the Ministry of Public Works, but we are separate institutions. So yeah, the coordination is there. I don't want to say interference, but we have a good working relationship.
Yes, Albert.
So, so for me, now that we're in the dry season, it expected of lot from both the public work and the national road fund. We want to assure our citizens that we are working tirelessly to make all efforts that all of the rules in the country.
All of the potholes just everywhere.
Of
The
course.
entire Bushra Island, parts of Jipper
That's
Freeway,
why-
Garnersville.
That's why we're in the dry season now. All of those things, contractors are now mobilizing to start active work. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. As you close up.
Yes, O'Neill, thank you very much for the invitation, and it was good interacting with you and the public. As we move from here, we have to understand that we're on a path to development, and whatever innovation that we can bring to the table is what we're trying to do, especially for us at the National Road Fund. Our job is fund management. We have to identify revenue sources to help the government deliver road infrastructure to the country. So that is what we're going to be doing. For those who have limited knowledge or understanding of the road fund, we'll continuously engage with you to get you to understand that this road fund that we're talking about is also about you because you contribute to it. So we just want the public to understand that this coming dry season, only we the Ministry of Public Works, working with the Ministry of Public Works, we're going to see a lot of work going on. I know they're in procurement stage now, and some of them are concluding, so that by the time the rain has subsided significantly, you'll see aggressive work going on. I want to ask the public to be a little.
You on record for that?
I mean, the minister himself has said it, and so he's our board chair.
The road funds on record for that.
Yeah, we of course there's no way we can support the
massive rephrase of the road in this crisis.
We look for the finances to do so.
You still looking for finance?
We have to, because we can't have all the obviously we don't have all the money right now, so we have to keep looking for the money. But we're going to do significant work this dry season. You can rest assured on that. We're going to do some significant work in some of the corridors around Monrovia, the single streets. You're going to see some work going on. We can assure you of that.
Okay, yes, guys, thanks for accepting my invitation coming up this morning. Albert Sabuka, Makoti, of course, Emil Koko, yes, from the Road Funds, accepted my invitation.
Because in my mind, at the start of giving you money,
the
you
challenge
can always move by money.
have in
I listened to you last night, you said,
this is 961 FM. Let's go for our break. We'll come back with John Nami Tapia. Shortly at 9:20 this morning, we'll link up to from Malenka all the way in the U.S. We understand that as part of Donald Trump 100 days in office, deportation is part of his agenda. Let's go for sports coming up right here on 961. So Nigeria was speaking news in the world of sports coming up shortly on TBS this morning on Truth FM. There's a protest somewhere. We hope to get that information correctly. What is it? But there's a standstill between the Ministry of Transport and Liberia National Police to do the vehicle inspection. We all know that, yeah, it is the Ministry of Transport responsible. The police. Let's go for sports in the meantime. When we'll come back, we'll talk some of these things before linking up for Malik and Kai. All the way in the US, yes.
they're looking at irresponsible for your teaching them, not setting precedence, not leading by what you're teaching them. He said,
What's making news in the world of sports?
That one people graduate from colleges in the country. People don't take them serious. That is our example of people like Jim Barney. Jim Barney then goes down to Mary Sharp to 19th Street and get drunk, go on spoon and talk nonsense. If they have to exonerate themselves, is that what the law say?
Has accepted an official
Is that what the law
apology
say?
letter
You sitting
from
down,
global former
opening your
President
mouth and
Savannah's
talking
Morris
nonsense
for
with
recent
it.
altercation with journalist Donatius Mate. The spokeswriters released a statement demanding an apology from Morris for physically assaulting sports journalist Mate on September 10, 2024, after Liberia versus Algeria game at the Samarkand Sports Complex. Morris, in his letter dated October 24, 2024, expressed regret over his actions, saying that he would like to apologize if his recent actions appeared disrespectful to the organization. SWAT leadership said in a statement to the public that they see the apology as a step in the right direction and a recipe for continuous strong bond amongst stakeholders and sports journalists. The leadership thanked Morris in the release and urged all sports stakeholders to always observe restraints and channel their complaints or grievances through the sports writers' leadership, as they called on all sports journalists to always exhibit professional behavior while on their reportorial duties. Liberia Football Association First Division Club Discouraged Sports Association has announced the appointment of Ansu Keita as the club's technical advisor and international affairs for Europe and the Americas. Liberia Sports International reported that the former Liberia Honor 15, 17, and senior men's national team head coach, who comes to the job with vast experience, will work with the club first team players whenever he is on vacation. The former national team head coach was dismissed in November 2023 after the Lone Star failed AFCON 2024 qualifiers encountered against South Africa at the SKD Sports Complex. The Lone Star had drawn with South Africa 2-2 and lost 2-1 to the Bafana at a SKD Sports Complex, which was a missed opportunity. The Lone Star will battle Togo at the SKD Sports Complex in the second leg of the CAF African Cup of Nations Morocco 2025 quarterfinals. Togo drew with Liberia 1-1 in the first leg in Lomé. The Lone Star held a series of training sessions, with the latest being a Monday section that witnessed foreign-based players such as Mosangari, Mark Pabal, and Emmanuel Ennis joining the training held on Monday and Tuesday. Out of the 11 players invited by interim coach Thomas Kojo, only 3 are available for the second leg encounter against the Sparrowhawks of Togo. Interim manager Thomas Kojo has disclosed that Liberia will do better irrespective of the absence of some players without underestimating his opponents. Liberia makes a Giroud on November 17 away for the second match after the Lone Star lost 3-0 to the North Africans at the SKD Sports Complex. International development Gary Lineker's exit from Match of the Day has been confirmed, and it could lead to a major format change by the BBC in the future for the program. Lineker, 63, has been in the hot seat of the BBC's flagship football highlights show for some 25 years after he replaced Dan Lennon back in 1999. The former England Tottenham Hotspur ambassador and striker has gone on to present Match of the Day on Saturday evenings to round up the best of this Premier League action, as well as fronting the BBC's coverage of international tournaments like the World Cup and European Championships, as Lineker went on to become an iconic broadcaster. Reports emerged yesterday claiming that Lineker would be leaving the show after stepping away from the BBC by the end of 2026, following the conclusion of the next World Cup that year. And it has been confirmed that the former striker will indeed be stepping back from hosting the Match of the Day at the end of this current season. He will continue fronting the BBC's FA Cup coverage for the 2025-26 campaign, as well as continuing to host the MODT Top 10 and the popular The Rest is Football podcast, and will also present the coverage of the 2026 World Cup. That's all from our sports desk.
Yes, send me that number. Send me that number. Okay, yeah, so sports is a regular feature right here on the True Breakfast Show 961 FM, the Hot and Slow of Liberia. Will link up with our guests from all over the world. So let me confirm to you that the Inspector General of Police, Gabriel Common, have instructed police to carry on the inspection. Transport Ministry should leave the street and leave it with the police. Let's go for a break. We'll come back to link off. This is what happened in this film, Miami. All right. So the IG have sent a word out that transport inspectors should leave the traffic, leave the inspection with the police. Correct. Let's go for a break. We'll come back. You're not paying.
To be able to make their presence felt. Like I said, I will give the Lebrimpo day-to-day activities of the happiness in the house. I listened to James Barney last night. You know, let me say to James Barney, Senator Barney, you don't have to get drunk before you go on national platform, contradicting yourself. You stuck behind early status for 6 months because in my mind, early status was giving you money because you always move by money. I listened to you last night. You say when somebody is accused, the speaker was accused by his colleagues, automatically he's deemed accused. You know, Honorable Councillor Tewon Gonglo, you're looking at irresponsible for your teaching them, they're not setting precedents, not leading by what you're teaching them. You say in a law school. Now, when people graduate from colleges in the country, people don't take them serious. That is our example of people like Jim Barney. Jim Barney then goes down to Mary Sharp to 19th Street and get drunk, go on spoon and talk nonsense. If they have to exonerate themselves, is that what the law say? Is that what the law say? You sitting down, opening your mouth and talking nonsense with it. Look, Lebrimpo, let me tell you, the speaker and money to keep for him and walk all of that place. And when he left, I told the speaker, I said, I mean, the way I see him walking, or he will keep malice against you. And this is somebody that I had too much respect for. You know, so when nothing happened, for you to be beyond Tyler for 6 months, telling Tyler this is what the Constitution, why you didn't tell Tyler to recuse himself when his colleagues at that time had a majority and said they no more had confidence in him? Why you didn't tell him to recuse himself? But you stuck behind him because you left money business. Let me tell you something today. Y'all remember the thing I come and tell you today. The senators, 17 senators have signed resolution to remove Yomli Kanga. That other embarrassment on our list. Let me just name a few. You get Prince Moy on that list. You get James Barney, that reckless drunk that was on spoon last night. That I go down to Marisha and get drunk. He was drunk last night. He said he's going to law school. That no one knew what to say last night on spoon. That drunk James Barney. Name on our list. Creighton Duncan, somebody that I respect hardly. Name is on our list. Dopo, that other role. That good in stealing. That always part alteration of the budget. His name is on our list. The whole thing is being held by criminal Beaton Jeremiah Kun to remove the protest. There are 17 on our list. I just named a few of them. I'm trying to get the list. I will put it on the page. You know, he just said to the Liberian people that the day they reach The day they get ready, they will go sit down one place and say, we not want Yombly, that mean Yombly got to leave. No due process. Hey man, Jim Barney, I know you was stupid like this. I know Jim Barney was very irresponsible and stupid like this. You go sit down, you open your reckless mouth on that kind of big platform to say when you are accused, you deem not important anymore. You need to recuse yourself. Jim Barney, the law school you're going to, like what they're teaching you. If I was telling you, you're not sitting in my class no more because you're useless.
961 FM, so of Nigeria. And a lot of things is happening. Yes. This time around, the Ministry of Transport will call for the intervention before we link up with our yes, shall we call for the intervention of the Ministry of Justice. Yes. What is happening? I mean, between the LMP and the Ministry of Transport, upon the instruction of the police director, the IG have instructed all police officers to carry on the inspection. Yes, meaning ignoring the Ministry of Transport. So now the question here is, the Ministry of Transport do have created a transport. Yes, they do, right? They do, like I said. So we'll call on because two government institutions cannot be going at loggerheads. I mean, good one is excellent. A lot of things happening on used to be around the president. When last we saw the police carry on the inspection. This company called traffic management actually announced it already. Very soon, if this happens, if the police carry on the inspection, and this is what's going to happen. By next year, you'll be getting driving lessons on Lebanese. You go to Lebanese man because they have the traffic management. There's a new management coming called traffic management. Save this for me. Traffic management came, Ellen Johnson put her heart away and said, no, the Ministry of Transport was on finance. I took it from on finance, vehicle inspection. I brought it to the Ministry of Transport. George Reactive will take a look at it and say, no, Liberians will not like it to see you going to a foreign company, to deliver this company, going to get a commitment whatsoever. What's behind this? What is this? Why is this happening? The police, the IG have instructed, the IG have instructed the police to carry on their inspection to involve Ministry of Transport. So if you see the guy in the traffic jacket of transport, they're not going to be regarded. So what is happening? The two act. So I do have a communication. So because of time, we do have a last segment here for you on standby. Watching this itinerary. Now, I intend this to announce it. Those of you around the president, two government institutions cannot be going at loggerhead. Nowhere in the world you see police carrying on vehicle inspection. They are just there to enforce. And that's how it should be. I even put that some section of the police own act of 2016. They are there to enforce. I mean, who do you know? Maybe the first said there is no crime there. But the majority black people black. How the country is going through like this? I mean, when you look at everything, every day is a different thing. What mean the police, IG, whoever have instructed all police officers, all traffic police officers, you carry on inspection. Nobody for transport. So do you want the media now to tell those commuters, commercial rider, and say, don't listen to the two of them since they can? I mean, we can do this. We can't. We all know. Nowhere in the world is police carry on to inspect vehicles for insurance, for registration. So there is this company called Traffic Management. Liberians, by next year you'll be going to Lebanese to go and get a driving lesson. Someone is behind it. Someone wants a kickback. I didn't put a big question mark. George did the same. McGill ask McGill, he will tell you. Joe, Uncle Joe, good morning, person. A lot of things happening in this little Miami. You know, Joe, we said Miami, a lot of people laugh about it. It's like we're becoming a Miami now. But anyway, let's link up and go to Malaki time. I saw President-elect Donald Trump. I follow the cable news network, the CNN. As part of his 100 days, President-elect Trump has said you have a huge tax cut as part of this 100-day deportation is high on the agenda of the 100 days working for the United States of America. A Liberian American in the U.S. have decided to leave the us this morning. The next 30 minutes, you can hear on the next 30 minutes. His name is Malik. Should be about 2 a.m.
Malachi.
5 a.m. 6:30 a.m. wherever he's joining us from. Good morning. Are you hearing us? You're live on. How you doing?
Yes, brother
So, Nemo, you can help us with
O'Neill, I hear you very loud and clear.
in there. Yes. So sorry, I'm not getting you. So just hold on, please. Yes, I have to wake you early on. Yes, I. Okay, so you have all
You able to hear me?
playing from Jenkins. Yes. Yeah, it's still playing. You're playing something else, so you have to pause that. That is it. Yes. Thank you for that. Kyle, are you getting me? Good morning.
Yes, good morning, O'Neill. Can you hear me?
Okay, great, man. So it's about 9:29 up to 10 o'clock, 9:31 Liberia time. What time is it? It should be 6:30 from your end.
Yes, close to that. We're close to that.
Okay. So for the benefit of the listening audience, just increase this volume a little bit. Just introduce yourself for us.
Yes, I'm Malachi Kane, the Executive Director of Africa Town International. Um, we are a company that's focusing on the African diaspora here in the States, providing services, social and otherwise, to individuals and families who need assistance throughout the diaspora.
Okay. Yeah. So we said that I'm speaking to you live from now. As you go on.
We're based in Seattle, Washington, but the work is diverse and I travel globally frequently.
Okay.
We're based in Seattle, Washington.
Okay. Yes, you travel globally frequently. That's great. I mean, I was concerned about online listening viewers that are getting loud and clear. Great. So, almost a week now, President-elect Donald Trump is now the president-elect of the great United States of America. Let's hear you Liberians back in the U.S., African descent. Their own reaction. They were high anticipation that the country was going to have a first female president, the United States, but it went the other way. Let's hear you.
Well, as I told you the last time we spoke on the subject, that was an exciting perspective, potential that we had. However, the fact was there were so many different crises going on during the Biden administration that running simply on identity was not going to be enough to carry the weight for Ms. Harris or her campaign. So the people were looking for something with a little bit more substance so that they could have something to look forward to. The economy, of course, immigration, the legal system, housing, everything was just coming to a head and challenging the resources, and the best of people were failing. So the American population needed something or someone to speak to hope and truth with real solutions, not just an identity.
Okay, great. So now you have, a Republican president, Donald J. Trump. Yeah. So I was going through and I saw part of his 100 days in office. He talks about tax cuts, major reduction in taxes across all 50 states. And the one that got to my attention is the thing about deportation. You care to talk about it?
The immigration crisis is another item and subject, very contentious, of course. But if you are dealing with it in any way, shape, or form, as we do,
then
Mm-hmm.
you realize that it's an emergency. Every year for the past 5 years, almost 5 years through the Biden administration, at the end of the Trump administration,
Mm-hmm.
literally millions of people were allowed to cross the border unchecked, undocumented. Mexico, they had emptied out their prisons, their insane asylums, and these people off to the United States society.
Mm-hmm.
And it became a big issue, throughout the country because of many different reasons. Primarily the crime issue, secondarily, housing and resources. The American people were suffering
Mm-hmm.
with healthcare, with housing, with jobs, with all the
Mm-hmm.
economic issues. And you had these group of people coming across the border, and the government was bankrolling them, giving them hundreds of thousands of dollars to stabilize them and their families, while we ourselves did not have anything.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, so I'm reading. So Homeland Security issued new guide on the same thing about deportation, right? To prioritize those who have involved have criminal records because those who are involved in criminal records, individual who left the country illegally, regardless of the circumstances, and African, no doubt about it. I want to say Liberia, but quote unquote, African is high on the list for this kind of thing, according to record release on the Homeland Security.
Mhm. Well, one thing you have to separate is rhetoric from reality. And the reality is literally, all right, uh, just imagine the
Okay.
logistics that will go into deporting that many people, the finances that will go into that.
Hmm.
So there's more rhetoric than there is reality. That's the first thing. I mean, even if the Homeland Security and the administration was totally committed and had everything, just the resources to gather that many people who are actively engaged in the society, that are working or engaged in criminal activity, whatever it may be, to find and round up that group of people would be a tremendous undertaking that I don't think even the most robust of law enforcement agencies could handle. So that, let's say that at first. So what I imagine is going to happen is there going to be some type of standstill or
Hmm.
amnesty program for people
Hmm.
that are qualifying. So
Okay.
we're going to see that unroll in the next year to year and a half after the smoke, so-called, and mirrors dies down, and we get back to reality of, hey, we don't have the money to transport these people back to their home countries safely. We don't have the money to lock these people up. We're going to have to come to, a consensus and a compromise where there is an amnesty program in place for those who actually deserve citizenship.
Wow. Wow. Citizenship. Great. So, Karen, you've been, for those of you who don't know him in particular, how often do you come to Liberia in a year time? Before I move on to our next
Uh,
question.
I stay in Liberia between 6 to 8 months out of the year.
Okay.
Um, I just had two children. My family is from Calcutta, and
Oh, Qatar.
yes, we're from Calcutta. The Kain family is well known, uh, and so yeah, I'm there at least twice a year for an extended term throughout the year.
Okay. Yeah. So, the Trump presidency, what does it mean for Africa? I mean, do Africa stands that yes, there's some good executive laws that will be passed that benefits maybe I say Liberia or Africa as a whole?
I think it's a tremendous opportunity. And why I say that is because, uh, Trump is like a bitter medicine,
Hmm.
if you want to compare him. Obama was an anesthetic. He put us to sleep, he put us to ease, thinking that everything is under control, it is time to relax.
Hmm.
Trump is the bitter medicine that tells us we have to wake up, okay? We have to get to the business of number one, healing ourselves, and number two, asking for what's rightfully ours. All right. And what I mean by that is if the best and the brightest of us, if the most industrious of us
Hmm.
are committed to going to America and committing themselves and their resources, their time, their life energy to that society, what is going to happen to America? I mean, to Liberia and to the other African countries. All right. We have to invest in ourselves. We have to believe in ourselves. And when we have someone that we view potentially as hostile, that gives us the momentum to do that. We're not looking at our brother in the face, so to speak, but we're looking at someone who could potentially help us help ourselves, as opposed to us relying on him for their services, their money, sending our resources and our people to them. Maybe we have a partner that we can rely on to help us manage it better for ourselves. I think that independence is what we need moving forward. We have to change the mentality of we're going to America to become this or to become that. Why
Hmm.
can't we do it here in Africa? This is our home. We go to these places, to these other countries. We enjoy their wealth. We enjoy their decor. We enjoy their food and their education. Then we come home to what? The same way we left it. It's time we build up our own home for ourselves. I'm sure that there is a significant budget that could be directed to building up our own countries instead of immigrating, that the United States and other countries would gladly fund job and training programs, housing and health programs here on the continent, as opposed to us going there and trying to achieve it over there. At the same time, we will live the benefit of that through our children and the legacy of our own ingenuity. So I think that is what is most important. To stop relying on this person, these people. Stop looking at the American government and the other governments of the world as a savior. We have to look to ourselves. And I think Donald Trump is the first person or one of the best people that we can look to so that we see in him not necessarily a friend, but someone that motivates us to do better for ourselves, because we don't see necessarily a friendship or a partnership. We see someone that's potentially hostile, or at least someone that's stressing, for us to stand up on our own.
Okay, great. So on today, I was due to host the ambassador of the U.S. Embassy Liberia, but unfortunately, we have to reschedule because probably there might be some change of policy of the new president elect. Diplomatic reason, he decided to hold on the interview. But you think the presidency of the president elect Trump, is he going to live up to those campaign promises?
Well, the during the campaign trail, we saw one or two things, and that was we saw Kamala in office for 4 years, and prior to that, we had 4 years of Trump. Uh, During the 4 years of Trump, we had relatively smooth and good economic, outcomes, and it was never what they wanted it to be, meaning some tragedy that had been inflicted upon the people. So, like I said, there's a lot of promises that are always made during any campaign.
Hmm.
I like to look at the more realistic ones. Right
Hmm.
now, we're looking at the stock market at an all-time high. The global outlook economically is on the upswing. Just 4 days, 5 days after the election, 6 days now, we're looking at uh, all four wars that were going on in the world uh, coming to a cessation, beginning to curtail and stop. Okay, so we're seeing change immediately. Um, Now, if we take advantage of that change, or if we sit and look at the negative aspects of my candidate didn't win, or this political party did this or did that, if we do that, we may not see much benefit. But I think if we take advantage of the time and the potential that we have as a people to press our issue, to say, hey, not only is there a crisis in the Middle East, there's a crisis in Sudan. Not only is there a crisis for housing in America, there's a housing crisis here in Africa. There's an education crisis here in Africa. There's a healthcare crisis here in Africa. What can you do to help us to stop the flow of immigration that you say you do not want? So I think if we look at the equation from the other side about what can we have as an outcome as opposed to what do we have as an outcome, I think then we can really realize a good term and be on the upswing like the rest of the markets and the other venues throughout the world.
Okay, yes. Again, we're also concerned. What's your take with the crisis in the Middle East? We see Lebanon, Iran, Israel is at war. The crisis in Ukraine and all of it. You think under the Trump administration, he's going to say, "Look, let's do a round table and have a ceasefire," unlike for the outgoing administration of Joe Biden?
Well, I look at this, and like I said, when we're looking at a Trump administration, we're looking at something that we've already seen in effect. One of Trump's campaign stump speeches in 2020 was, I am going to stop the war in Afghanistan. I'm sorry, 2016. I'm going to stop the war in Afghanistan. So 3 months into his election, the war was over with. The war was over. Troops were being brought home. So I don't think it's far-fetched to say that Mr. Trump will be able to use his influence and the power of the American military and diplomacy to stop these senseless wars. And if we look at the wars, they were senseless primarily because they could have been avoided, and there is no gain no matter who wins on either side. Okay, and what I mean by that is if Israel wins, totally decimates further than what they've already done the population of Gaza and Lebanon and the other besieged countries. If they do, still no one in the world is going to do business with them, is going to feel safe with them and power in the region. After seeing them kill, hundreds of thousands of women and children, primarily the victims of this war, who is going to actually put themselves, their reputation, their lives behind Israel, other than a diehard political pundit or a warmonger? You're killing innocent people. Now, yeah, there may be some people that you have a problem with that you have to deal with, but everyone knows there's a better way to do it. So Israel has lost a tremendous amount of global respect and trust. Even the United Nations, the ICJ and the ICC have issued warnings, warrants, war crimes, everything against Israel. So they cannot win this war. Okay, if Hezbollah or any of the other groups win, no matter what, they will always be terrorists in the eyes of the rest of the world. They will never fight their way out of that. They're not going to transform into freedom fighters because there was no diplomatic wing to their assault or their, their mission. You look at Ukraine. This was all about the expansion of NATO. It could have been avoided. It was avoided. It has been avoided for the past 80 years. There's been no escalation or significant escalation since World War II. So I think reversing some of the actions of these nation states and bringing them into peaceful negotiations and diplomatic outcomes, I think is going to be a lot more fruitful for them than trying to stand against the enemy that they're fighting in the battlefield and then a strong adversary in the White House. I don't think they're going to be able to do that.
Okay, yes. So just ahead of us getting the telephone lines activated for people to react, this issue of deportation again, I want to come back to many Liberians here back home believe that when they do apply for the U.S. visa, most time when they are denied, the money is not refunded. And on the other hand, when the visas are also issued for visiting visa, maybe 3 months or so, the overstay will not return home. What's your take on it?
Well, that is a significant problem, that we deal with because when this family or person does not return in a timely manner for their visa, what is the next step? They're usually then seeking social services or help to survive the day-to-day life in America, to readjust and to get in as an undocumented immigrant. So this is where an organization like Africa Town and others come into play. Uh, you know, the immigration thing is always based on a trust factor, and it's an economic factor as well. The government wants to see people coming in the door that are self-sufficient, and a lot of times that's not the case. They would like to be self-sufficient, but they're coming with a dream. I think that there's a better way to do it. I think there's a better way to do it because when you come, uh, as some people say, the back way, and other times you overstay your visa and just say, I'm going to negate the law and find my way because I heard such and such did it, or I'm living with such and such who's doing it. I think in the end, we don't get the real benefit of citizenship. We cannot return home and travel freely back and forth, and we create more problems for ourselves that are long term. What are we there for in the first place? Are we there for education? Are we there for economic reasons or purposes? The answer is usually yes. And when we say that, you are gambling your education, your economic, and your family's future on an undocumented status that could potentially result in a tremendous failure. How many people were, captured and deported at the wrong time, and their family is now stuck there and they are here, or vice versa, or they're stuck over there and their family is here and they cannot come home. How many people have this scenario? It's a very common thing that happens. We deal with the legal issue, dealing with the immigration services there in America, trying to normalize relations between undocumented families, immigrants, and men and women who are trying to obtain citizenship. But the bottom line is this: if you are a criminal, meaning you have already broken the law, it's easy for this man to uh, 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 turn you around and say, no, we will not allow you in ever. So that's what I say. It's an advantage for us to know the process, to learn it, to get our monies and our economic footing in order before we step through the threshold of any country.
Okay. All right. So sit back as I take phone calls. In the meantime, let me just announce there's a protest at the Monrovia Vocational Training Center on the Japan Freeway. The students are protesting. I'm seeing riot police already on the scene. The Japan Freeway protests at NVTC. Yes, it's happening now. While in Central Town, the police and the Ministry of Transport and Bløggèr are also carry on motor vehicles inspection. Yes, Marka Khan is our guest live this morning. Let's pick on some of the issues we'll talk about on foreign matters. Yes, call us if you're following up on the Truth Breakfast Show, the last segment. Let's do this for the next 5 minutes. 0777 961. Go ahead and call us. Let's hear from you. 0777 961. You'll be live on the last segment of the show this morning. Yes. Speaking of Trump's 100-day deportation is high on the agenda of the new president-elect. Good morning.
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 I think
Just turn down the volume a little bit. I'm hearing myself in the background. Just walk away from your monitor. Are you hearing the caller? Hold on. You hearing him?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. I think Trump's what I heard talking about closing borders is good for us. That means that if we should return home and stay, we should return home because you get so many Liberians who have been over 30 years in America, they can't come. They take care of home. Normally, you go from home, you go look for goodness. When you get it, you should return to help people. But there are so many for us and other people, so many Nigerians in America, they have forgotten where they are from. You see, and that's one thing. Another thing, what I read again that America is giving visa free to several countries. I don't know that
Okay. America is giving visa free to other countries. Okay, we'll try to verify that. Thank you so much. Let's hear another call on the line. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Okay, my name is John Franklin, calling from District Number 2, Masuwa County. I heard you discussing the issue concerning about Trump deporting some illegal people who travel to the United States, and they are spoiling the system for good people who want to go there and change their life. You know, anyways, in Africa, we always have problem with people who always do the right thing. Trump talking about illegal people. But I want you to put this in your own shoes. The Mexicans are very far away from Africans. If Trump can build a wall between Mexico and America, then what about you coming from Africa to go look for money for your family? Have your sister, your grandmother who were living in one old house that almost shutting down to come and put smile in your face. Tomorrow when she dies, she send out blessing behind you and your children to come. But our people go to America, the food they eat today, they put it on Facebook. The clothes they wear today, they put it on Facebook. I mean, people don't want to go to America like that. For me, I can tell anybody, if I would go to America and I want to work for money and help humanitarian, help children, children that don't go to school, help them. So tomorrow, when you even die, one person will recognize you and will remember you for what you have been doing. When Trump was saying this thing, people felt bad, people felt different about him. Trump was talking about his country, he was talking about securing the borders. The African leader can capture from what Trump was saying in a campaign. Then Africa will be a good country.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Africa will be a good country. Yes. Time is running. Good morning. Morning. Go ahead.
I think while those people are talking about election campaign, the election, those who are renting exploitation are those who were America illegally. Then you went America visitation, and then you refuse to come back and just there for time definite. And then for those who went, because at least a lot of people African, all those immigrants are here America illegally, are positive in America. I think those who are talking about.
All right. Great. Yes. Thank you. Let's pick just our last caller. What of time? Morning.
Good morning, True and family. I'm Prince Maxwell, calling from District 4 to be specific, peace community.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the leadership of Trump, President Trump, if we have either food or tea in La Bløggèr, this country is going to be fine. Because our border is open. Why we call security, say we don't even have security. Go and just cross the camp here, they sell drugs, spoil our youth. They don't even want to know the money after the money to enrich themselves and go build their country. More especially in Nigeria. We can see it here. I mean, if we have some leaders to at least put system into place before you enter here, you pass through, vetting, at least let them know whether you are serious, to live here and look for money to sustain your family. I think this country is going to be a very good country. Some are advice to our leader, at least all those that you put into power or that you give them position to look good point. Do your work before anybody enter. Investigate them what they are going to do here. Will you convince before you allow them in this country? This country is spoiling.
Okay.
Yeah.
The country is spoiling. Let's pick our last caller. What of time already? Good morning.
Well, you thanks for the privilege. Coming from District 4. There's a voice of African voicing us. With you, I think what is happening in America, this message that the president-elect won on that he's going to give America back to Americans. For me, I would just say it's a man bluff. Look, let me tell you, even the president-elect Donald Trump, he knows fully well that America has become great today, not only because of the Americans who own America, no. America is great today because America has the influx of different nationals who are helping to make the country great. So if Donald Trump became president the very first time, how many persons you heard that he really took, repatriated that went back to their country? He was president for 4 years after he lost for the second time. But what I'm saying is that he used this message so as to win the soul of the American people to elect him.
Okay.
He knows fully well America will always be great because of the participation and all those different help that different nationals are giving to America.
All right. Yeah. So Malik and Kai, you listen up to callers that diverse views. Let's hear you at least for the next 2-3 minutes before we go.
Okay. The first thing I recall, you had a caller that said that there were countries that were allowing their citizens, or the United States was allowing citizens to go into the country for free visa. I don't know of anything like that. What I do know, there are some countries that are allowed to enter for 90 days without a visa. Places like Canada, Great Britain, Israel. Some of their, their good friends, their allies, as they call them. And as Africans, we look at that as an act of unfairness, and it may be. But as the other caller said, when you have a tradition of illegal entry into the country, or overstaying a visa, or undocumented border crossing, it creates a legal trend that works against us. America was built and based by immigrants, by Africans. America was built by Africans, all right, and the native peoples of the land. And so there's never going to be a point in time where immigration is frowned upon to where it stops. So, like I said, learning the process and the procedure should be at the forefront of your understanding, if that's what you want to do, instead of following this man or that person into the country illegally. Do it right and do it well, and you will see the benefit thereof, and the people that come after you will see the benefit.
Okay. Yes. Any other thing as you close up in a minute, we'll be reading to our radio time. As you close up, any final word from you? I know you in country every twice a year. You come to Liberia, going back and forth, not staying from your country for a very long time.
No, I should be there within the month, this month, hopefully, inshallah. The thing is, I want to stress is we are at a tremendous point of opportunity. Uh, the global markets are skyrocketing, and they're skyrocketing around resources. And the resources are 80 to 90% found in Africa. It is the time that we maximize our possession of these resources and enter the global markets as world power players, not people requesting help or assistance, but people directing our resources to the markets, reaping the benefits, and building our own countries, our own neighborhoods, our own schools, our own businesses, internationally and otherwise, for our own success and our own future. That's it in a nutshell.
Great, kind Wongzi. Thank you so for waking up early this morning, picking up our call, and let's stay in touch.
Yes, sir. Always, O'Neill. Great to speak with you again. You have a great day, and thanks for having me on the show.
Great. Yes, the voice of Malika Khan, yes, all the way in the US, as we talk about the 100 days of President-elect Donald Trump. As part of the Trump's 100 day, he have reducing taxes, huge cut in tax, and deportation high on the 100 days of the President-elect of the United States of America. This is how go home. But as we take leave of you, we call on the Ministry of Justice, please, to intervene with what is happening within the Ministry of Transport and that of the Liberian National Police. The IG have instructed all traffic officers to carry on inspection. Why? By law, it is the Ministry of Transport should be doing so instead of the LMP. The police are just there to enforce what is happening. His Excellency, President Bløggèr, as you drive your way or perhaps you are in office, there are lots of things happening. As part of your agenda, respecting the rule of law, the IRS agenda, I mean, it needs serious attention. Two government institutions cannot be doing so. That's not possible. This traffic management have been hanging along. They have been in the corridor. It's not just a new thing. There's not a new company that just want to accommodate. Ellen kick it off. George Weah put a 209. Joseph Bløggèr has stepped in. Traffic management. So if this happens, if the police succeeds in this operation, or the public will say, but they will not listen to the police instead of the transport ministry. But next year, Liberians will start to get a driving lesson, go to a Lebanese. We'll be getting our new driving lesson from Lebanese. That's what's going to be happening. A lot of things happen in this little Miami. So when George Weah say Liberia is like a Miami, we'll all laugh about it. That's true. That's what's happening. So, President, please take charge, man. Thank you so much. We'll be back on tomorrow on the Thursday edition of the TBS Justice Card. Ben, yeah, my name is O'Neill. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.